Hey guys, John Craig here with Performance Plus Tennis. Welcome to today's video where we're going to take a close look at the serve of Stefanos Tsitsipas. And he's 6'4", and he should be bombing his serve. He should have one of the biggest serves on tour, certainly for a top 10 player. He's got great ground strokes, he's a great mover, but his serve is really not as strong as it should be. So we're going to take a good look at that serve today, break it down, and give you some ideas on things you can do for your serve to make it even better. So let's go ahead and begin. And let's take a look at his serve here. And you can see, I love the way he sets up. I mean, he looks like he's got a great setup. I'm really an advocate of having the weight forward because it sets up a good rocking, rhythmic movement to start. So you can see here he's got a nice continental grip. Perfect. That looks really, really ideal. Just a perfect neutral continental grip. And we can see that his back heel is in the air, which means his weight is distinctly forward, and I like this position very, very much. So he looks like he's going to enter into what I would consider to be a really, really good serve. But as he enters in, you can see that he holds tight in his wrist, so you can tell he's got tension here. Most players in this phase of the serve, the racket's going to be floating and relaxed. It could even be down here. So he's really holding on. So he's got tension in his motion right from the start, which I think is going to really be an inhibitor as we move through his serve and take a closer look at it. Okay, but as he moves into it here, we can see he gets into a pretty good trophy position, not too bad. What I think we're going to see, though, which is very interesting, is that in reality, when he's in this trophy position, his front leg actually has more angle of bend in it than his back leg, which is very fascinating because you really usually see the opposite. You see more of an angle in the back leg, and the reason for that is that when you load into your serve, your right hip is a little bit lower. And for most players, what you'll see is that this foot will be, the heel will be higher. And you'll see more of an angle in the back leg. So you'll get more of a load. So I don't feel as though he's really getting an equal balance in both legs. And we'll see how that affects his serve as we go on. So I'd like to see the back heel higher. And I'd like to see more bend, more flex in the back leg than actually in the front leg. Okay? So let's take a look here. Other thing I'd like to just note really quick here is that let's just take a look at his ball toss height. And we'll take a look at that. And you'll see here as he plays the ball and he comes into contact. And I'll hold it there if I can. There we go. And we make a line there. You can see that he's almost dropping the ball about a racket's length, probably 30 inches from the apex to contact. Okay? Just keep that in mind that for many, many players, that's what they are doing. It just doesn't look that way because it happens so quickly. Okay? All right, so back up we go. We're going to go back to his trophy position. He's in a pretty good load here. This looks okay. He could strengthen that up in the back leg, as I mentioned. And then as he comes into contact, he tends to face the net more than most of his peers do. He's actually has his hips and shoulders more forward. And I think that's because he's not getting a strong enough load in the first place. So he's looking for more power, not deliberately or consciously, but he's looking for more power because he's just not getting a strong enough load in the first place. So he's actually rotating more than is ideal. Okay? The next concern I have is that you'll see here that his contact point is really outside of his shoulder. And for most high-performance servers, we're going to see the great servers in the game, they're going to be more between the shoulder and the ear, where they can actually activate that shoulder and have a really good long axis rotation into and through contact. And he tends to not have that very much. Okay? So I did a little experiment here, and I thought, it looks interesting because his arm is almost extending at the same angle as his shoulders. So what would that look like if I turned him on his angle here and then made his shoulders horizontal? So I took a little image, made his shoulders horizontal, and really his shoulder, his upper arm here, is actually extending straight off his shoulders. That's really interesting. So I was thinking, wow, do we have a little bit of a sidearm serve here? And I would say that we do. We have a bit of a sidearm serve, and there's a little bit of an angle change at the elbow. And I thought to myself, well, let's compare that to a baseball pitcher who is throwing sidearm. And here we go. We've got horizontal, and then we have a little angle change on the forearm. So it's not a whole lot different, really. Fascinating, isn't it? That Tsitsipas is actually a little bit more sidearm than would be ideal on his serve. And so he really does get a weaker movement than he should be getting. Okay, so if we go back and look at that again, and we look at his contact, you can see that it's really, he's approaching the ball from outside of his shoulder. We'll go back here and look at it. He's outside the shoulder as he's tacking, and then he's outside the shoulder. Now watch, he doesn't get much long axis pronation, and as we look at this go through, you'll see that his racket just comes straight out towards the target, and the strings never really pronate that much. Look at the strings. So most of his peers, the strings are definitely facing off to the right more, and he definitely has more long axis pronation from the shoulder. Okay, so he's leaving power on the table here, and that's really a lot has to do with the stiffness in his swing overall that I believe, and the position of his ball. So, and also the load. He's not getting good load in his legs, that he could be improving in that area as well. So those are the things that I think he could really make improvements on to get his serve to be at the quality that it should be to be a true contender for number one. I think this is something we can carefully watch in the next couple of years, and let's find out. Let's see what happens and what kind of adjustments he makes. See if he starts to get that ball placement inside and gets a lot more pronation through his shot, and develops more power through his load. So thanks for watching today's video. I hope this was helpful to you. Please leave your comments down below. Give us a like. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Don't forget, if you're interested in working on your serve, to click on the link in the description down below to get access to my key fundamentals that you need to master to achieve your full potential on your serve. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next lesson.